Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network, Tuesday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. I'm Frank Granito standing alongside my Valentine, Kevin Coleman. Kevin, happy to have you in here today. We've got a lot of fun lined up on the show today. We'll have stamps of approval for some of our impact players. We've got highlights from last night's boys hockey game, and Dave Rudin will join us to sort of settle the debate as to what's really going on at Fairfield Ward right now.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we had a great day yesterday over in Greenwich. We saw we had a great Nutmeg Sports there at 3 o'clock, and then we saw a game that I think we weren't expecting, a large margin. Congratulations again to St. Joe's. What a performance they put on the road, going to Greenwich and beating them 5-1. Again, you got to tip your cap to Ryan Wilson. I don't think there's anyone playing better than he is right now, and getting a chance to be ice level and getting a chance to see him in person, Frank, I was amazed.
Another strong showing for the seniors stand out, and we'll have plenty more of that in the B block. But let's get right to it, Kev. We've got Dave Rudin of the Rudin Report on the phone right now. Dave, we want to thank you for coming on with us today, and let me ask it right away. To the best of your knowledge, what has been going on at Fairfield Ward over the past 10 days, Dave?
First of all, hi guys. Good to be with you. It's been a little bit of a slideshow that I hope finally has closure, but basically, we can backtrack a little bit. Ryan Swaller, independently yesterday as coach of Ward, decided that the Brancato brothers, Giacomo and Antonio, will not be returning to the team for the rest of the year. Giacomo's a senior, so unfortunately his career as a basketball player is finished. This all started a week ago Friday when Ward played Trinity. Apparently over the weekend there was dissatisfaction, from what I'm told, about Antonio's playing time. He didn't start the game, and he didn't play a lot of the fourth quarter. The family wasn't happy. My understanding is that Giacomo went in and expressed the sentiment to Ryan. The two brothers decided to leave the team, and it's been sort of an ongoing saga since then, with trying to determine a punishment, trying to work things out so hopefully the brothers could come back and play with the team. And ultimately, there was some talk that there was going to be some sort of offer made to the brothers to possibly rejoin the team, and I think Ryan just decided it's late in the season, this was being too much of a disruption. He was thinking team first, and he decided yesterday before the game with Brian McMahon that the two boys were not going to be welcome back to the program and are done for the year.
Dave, what kind of impact does this have with the Brancato boys leaving the team?
Well, obviously, it's got a huge impact because you have two starters on your team. One who is either a first or second team All FCAC player. So obviously, talent-wise, it's a huge blow. The other part of it, and it'll be interesting to see, is I've covered the team the last two games. I was at the Trumbull game Friday, and I was at the game last night against Brian McMahon. And probably the two biggest issues I thought with the team were depth and their defense. And their defense has looked much better, particularly last night. And the depth, certain players, guys we've never heard of, Malcolm Broom, Jackson Longley, Matt Becker, Rashad Butler, are all getting more playing time. And they've stepped up and played very well so far. And I think the attitude of the players has been, you know what, we want to prove that we can win. We can still win. We can still be competitive. So given that there's no dominant team in the league now, I still think they're very much contenders. It's not going to be as easy, but I think maybe with this distraction behind them now, it's going to maybe change the chemistry of the team. This is unfortunately something that goes back even to last year. I know there were some internal issues with the team that really never got out, and I think the chemistry last year wasn't great. So I think everybody right now feels really, really bad about what happened. This has been a very difficult story for me to cover, number one, because, we need escapism. These aren't the kind of stories we like to write about. You never want to write anything negative about high school athletes. And I, in particular, Giacomo was just such an inspiration with his battle overcoming lymphoma that was played out very publicly. And I was lucky through a few contacts to be granted exclusive access to a few things. So I've really gotten to know the family really well over the last year and a half. So for me, it's been particularly hard to cover this story.
And it really is, you're right, it's unfortunate. It's not the kind of story that we want to have to cover, but you have to hope that they could maybe put this into perspective a little bit, especially someone like Giacomo and what he's been through, to understand just a sophomore on a roster that had to suffer some a lack of playing time in one game. And it's unfortunate to see that way. You talked a little bit about Ward 2.0. There's an article up on the Rudin Report from your game that you covered last night, and how they had to really explore that depth and that you see them sort of as a contender. Let me ask you this, though, Dave. Do you see any scenario in which the brothers might be allowed back onto the team?
I can't see any. I don't know. I hope this is finished. I don't know if the parents are going to try to continue to get the decision altered, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ryan's just decided yesterday, you know what, for the good of the team, I have to do this. And I think I've talked to a few coaches. I think Ryan's earned a few Coach of the Year votes from people because if this is a playing time issue. I think a lot of people a lot of coaches are just tired of having intrusions with other people outside the program or parents or anybody telling them about playing time. And there are a lot of coaches we all know that get meager pay and just say, this isn't worth the hassle. And, you had a coach right now who basically said, you know what, this is my team. I make the decisions, and that's the way it's going to be. Ryan has had a really, really tough week and a half. Seth Fry, the athletic director, a really, really tough week and a half. There's not one person happy that this has happened. And, you have to wish Ward well going forward, and you have to wish Giacomo and Antonio well going forward as well.
And you're right. I think we all hope that this finally is over, and it's a shame because it's overshadowing what's been such a great year for the Mustangs. Let's look ahead within the conference, and we'll go to a big game coming up tomorrow night. Trinity Catholic and Trumbull, Dave, currently seated as 1 and 8 in the conference. Trinity, coming off a huge win over Greenwich, puts themselves in a great position to qualify and clinch an FCX spot. Is this the Crusaders team that we expected to see at the start of the year? Are they now coming into their own, or are they still tough to get a read on here, in your opinion?
Well, they've played a couple of good games in a row. I've been the one who has stayed on the bandwagon, even when they've been inconsistent. I know a couple of coaches who still think that they're the most talented team in the league. It remains to be seen. A lot of teams, there aren't too many teams outside of Trumbull right now who have been putting consecutive good games back to back. I think Trinity I think pretty much after last night, barring something really, really, really unforeseen, that we have the 8 teams set, and Trumbull and Trinity. This could be a prelude to the first round of the FCX tournament, and I don't think winning the regular season title and getting Trinity in the first round is much of a reward for Trumbull or any team. I think the Crusaders are dangerous. The question is, can they keep it up, and can they exploit with Contavio Dutrell and Dimitri Moyes, 2 players that create matchup problems for everybody? Will they be able to get good guard play and use those 2 players to create problems for the opposition?
Well, Dave, you mentioned how the Crusaders are a dangerous team, you think. How do you think they stack up against the Trumbull Eagles going into tomorrow night's game?
I I have a funny feeling that Trumbull is really, really tough at home. I just have a funny feeling Trinity's going to pull off. I don't know. I wouldn't use the word upset with any of the 8 teams. I kind of feel like Trumbull's just due for a loss. And I'll tell you what, Buddy Bray, you have to give serious consideration for Coach of the Year for the second straight year. Trumbull is a solid team, but talent-wise, they are not that much better than the rest of the pack that they could very well go 19-1 through the regular season, which to me would just be an unbelievable accomplishment. But they are fundamentally sound. They play very good defense. Tamond Williams is really stepping up, the sophomore. I just have a funny feeling, and I'm basing this solely on instinct, that Trinity is going to pull off an upset tomorrow, and that actually a loss for Trumbull may not be the worst thing right now going into the postseason. I don't think the team's cocky at all, anything but. I think they're confident, but sometimes when you're having smooth sailing, a little shock to the system right before the playoffs isn't necessarily a bad thing.
And I really agree with that pick. I think Trinity's in a good position, and they still have ground to gain here from that 8th spot, could potentially move up as high as 6th. And for Trumbull, there isn't much to play for. They've got the 1 seed locked up. I agree, a loss might not be the worst thing. And one last question here for you, Dave. You got in the 6, 7, and 8 seeds right now, McMahon, Ridgefield, and Trinity. They're all at 8 and 5 in the conference. Greenwich and Staples are on the outside looking in at 7 and 7. Do you think either of those teams could sneak in and catch one of the schools ahead of them?
You know what? I'd be really shocked only because I looked at the schedule, and each of the McMahon, Ridgefield, and Trinity has at least one game against one of the real weaker teams where it would be a real seismic upset. And they would each have to lose at least twice. And I have a hard time seeing McMahon, Ridgefield, or Trinity losing 2 more times. And then you get into the tiebreaker scenarios as well. And you're also assuming that Greenwich and Staples are going to win their final 2 games. So I would be very surprised. I think the 8 teams are set right now. And the next week and a half is about jockeying for playoff position.
Dave, which of the top 4, Trumbull, Wilton, Ward, and Darien, which one is most vulnerable heading into the tournament, you think?
Who? I mean, everybody can beat anybody. I guess at the top 4, if assuming Jack Williams comes back healthy for Wilton, and my understanding is he is going to be back at some point this season, but Wilton doesn't know when. I probably would make Darien the most vulnerable, but not by a lot. And it's interesting because I actually think Alex Preston has just really, really come on. And right now, if I got my vote, he would be the FSAC Player of the Year. And I suspect he would get, from at least talking to some coaches, he would get the coach's vote for FSAC Player of the Year as well. So I think Darien is probably the most vulnerable, only because the other 3 teams have been a little bit more consistent. But you know, you can make a case for just about any one of these teams. It's funny how the season has changed. It wasn't too long ago that I really thought Wilton or Ward, and I was having a hard time making a case for any other team being able to win 3 games. And now, right now, I just, you know, we're looking at Trumbull at 1 and Trinity at 8, and there's not a lot of difference there. I think there are a lot of teams. I think all 8 teams are capable of getting hot.
Well, one thing is for sure, it's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch, and that first Saturday on the 25th when we've got the quarterfinals will definitely be a great day. Dave, I want to thank you for taking time with us as always. We look forward to seeing you soon, and we'll talk to you shortly.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Always a pleasure.
That was Dave Rudin of the Rudin Report, and he's right. I think that any of those top 4 teams could be picked off on that opening weekend. It's just going to be such a fun and wide-open tournament.
It is, and he mentioned Wilton, and you got to get Jack Williams back healthy. I think that's the number one thing for them. I think Drew Connolly he's stepped up huge as almost like a role player. He's not a sixth man. He's a starter, but you almost forget he's almost lost in the shuffle. And I give him a lot of credit for this Wilton Warriors team. He's really stepped up when this team is kind of hit the injury bug lately. So Wilton is a team I still think can be dangerous, but if not healthy, again, they can be vulnerable.
Should be a lot of fun. That will be in 2 Saturdays on the 25th, the boys' quarterfinals. Kevin and I are going to take a break. When we get back, we've got highlights from our day in Greenwich right after this on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at StonesThrowCT.com.
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Thank you again to Dave Rudin for joining us as we shift gears from the hardwood to the ice now. The HAN Network was live yesterday at Greenwich's Dorothy Hamill Skating Rink for a rematch of the 2016 FCX Championship in boys hockey. Unlike what we saw last year, it was the St. Joe's Cadets yesterday who dominated play against the Greenwich Cardinals. It was a game that turned physical quickly, Kevin, but the Cadets really capitalizing on the missed opportunities and mistake that Greenwich made both in their own zone and in the neutral zone.
I thought something they did really well was in the beginning, really putting pressure on the forecheck for Greenwich. I mean, you talk about how many shots they got, and you got that goal in the first couple minutes, really put the pressure on Greenwich, and adding a second. And then Greenwich actually made it interesting, making it 2-1. And you almost thought that this game was going to be tight. And then the second period, it really just, the game was spread wide open at that point. And you talk about the physicality. I thought both teams, especially towards the end, got a little ugly, but both teams definitely were very physical with each other. And I thought Greenwich at times looked great, getting the puck and trying to dump it into St. John's zone. And talking to Coach Rorick, that was his main goal coming in to the intermission from the second period, is that he wanted them to crash the net harder. they just didn't get a chance to do that in that second period, which I think really hurt them.
The Cardinals cut it to 2-1, but the Cadets, scoring the game's final 3 goals, walked away with a 5-1 victory. Let's take a look at the highlights from the Cadets' win yesterday in Greenwich.
For the first time, you are getting a live look at the Dorothy Hamill skating rink right here on the HAN network as we get set for an FCAC championship rematch. Puck bouncing out in front, open on the crease. Opportunity now, and they score! Out in the slot, it was Rakuya. Couple of Cardinals, and now it's on the stick of Foldesi. Pass to the front of the slot, and another goal as they score again. Evan Bocchino is going to get this one. Good motion here as they run the overload. To the far side, Bauer lets it go, and it's off the crossbar. No, it's a goal. It hit the back bar and came right out. No hesitation from the officials, and it's a 2-1 game following the power play goal. Will Coleman, Kevin.
Thanks, Frank. We had Andrew Gilbert with the assist on that one. Here's a goal for St. Joe's, just like that.
Presley couldn't control the rebound. Bocchino stopped on the net. He picks up another one.
In the FCAC playoffs.
Foldesi wants it on the back door, and the shot and score. A sliding Bauer got a piece of it, but it wasn't enough. The senior captain carries that one, and it's now 5-1 with 1:46 of power play time still to go. 2-1. And this one will come to an end. It was all Cadets from the start. As they pick up their first win in the last 6 games, it is the first loss in the month of February for the Cardinals.
So you saw there, Kev, a lot of the Cadets' goals coming off bad turnovers in horrible spots on the ice in front of their own net as the Cardinals just giving away opportunities. The Cadets capitalizing on the power play numerous times. We talked about how it got a little physical. There were some scrums at the end. You were joined with Nick Foldesi on the ice afterwards, and I thought it was great how Nick just said, oh, it got physical, but we were just playing hockey.
Yeah, it's just hockey, yeah.
That was the mentality. The line of Foldesi, Atanasio, and Bocchino was the best line on the ice all night. They each picked up multiple points. The top line for the Cadets, when they're on, as Coach Eddie Lemaire said, they're just hot right now, and it's a scary thought. Ryan Wilson only had to didn't have to make 56 saves this time, but he had a couple of key ones, and they've got to believe if they score 2 goals in the playoffs, that's enough to get a win with Wilson in net.
You know what? 2 names I think they need deserving of is the captain, Andrew Van Enden, and Andrew Gabriel, number 2 and number 3 on St. Joe's, the 2 defensemen I thought were stellar last night. Andrew Gabriel, I mean, he blocked a shot with his helmet last night. You talk about blocking shots and, you know, using your body, taking one for the team. Andrew Gabriel last night, you know, he got tossed around. You know, I'm sure today he's a little sore, but, you know, I was impressed with what I saw from those 2 defensemen.
It was a Game 7 mentality from Gilbert without a doubt, and you saw that top to bottom on the Cadets roster. So a huge win for St. Joe's. That propels them into 3rd place in the conference right now. They're comfortably in the playoff picture. For the Cardinals, they're on the outside looking in, sitting in 7th, 2 points behind Stanford, West Hill, and Darien. They have 3 games remaining, 2 of them against those opponents. So by no means is Greenwich eliminated, but they've got some work left to do. Kev and I are going to take one more break here on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, we're giving out Valentine's stamps of approval as we get ready for some impact players heading into the postseason on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN network.
Want a new experience in car buying? Skep Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, skepchryslerjeep.com or skepdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain, or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Wild Birds Unlimited, your one-stop shop for all your backyard bird hobby needs. Premium bird seed, freshly delivered each week. A great selection of bird feeders, houses, a patented pole system, bird baths, and a vast array of wonderful gifts of whimsy and nature. Visit us at 356 Heights Road in Darien, next to the post office, and across from Norotan Heights Railroad Station.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Back on the HAN Network, it is Tuesday, February 14th, Nutmeg Sports. Kev, I got everyone Valentine's today. There is yours.
Oh,
got everyone a little stamp, too, which plays into our next segment. We're going to be giving out stamps of approval now, heading into the postseason. There are Valentine's stamps of approval, and I'm going to give you my first athlete right now. That's Timmy Kane from the Fairfield wrestling team. You get a Valentine's stamp of approval. Just won his 4th FCAC championship at a different weight class. We're expecting big things at both the state tournament opens and at the New England regionals for Timmy Kane. Kev, who you got here?
Well, we're going to go back to last night, the game we saw. Ryan Wilson gets my stamp of approval. The St. Joe's goalie, again, just playing red hot. I think he's going to continue to play this way. Look out for the St. Joe's Cadets.
Another big name who, if they're going to make a run from a low seed, it's going to be Eric Day for the Brian McMahon boys hoops team, getting a stamp of approval here. Day has been one of the top scorers in the conference all year. He's got to be critical as an impact player if the Senators are going to pull off an upset and make a run for a championship.
Well, Frank, I'll take your Day, and I'll raise it to a Parson right here.
Okay.
Marcel Parsons right here for the Ward Mustangs. This guy, you know, a lot of turmoil right now going on the board. I think he's playing outstanding. Look out for him in the playoffs. This guy can shoot.
I've got Camille Martinez from the Stanford Girls Lady Black Knights. I'm going to say that off the bench, the senior as that 6th woman for the Black Knights makes a huge play at some point in time in the postseason. We saw how deadly she can be behind the arc, the veteran presence there, and the maturity to come off the bench. Camille Martinez will be huge if the Black Knights repeat as conference and state champions.
Well, Frank, I'm going to take my guy over at Wilton, Drew Connolly. You talk about a guy who's making an impact with the Warriors, you know, with the injury bug right now. Cronenberg, Jack Williams, 2 of their biggest stars. Little bit of an injury. Drew Connolly has stepped up massively for the Warriors. Look out for him in the playoffs.
I'm going to go with a tag team effort here. A couple of rookie goalies, Kara Fahey and Jessica Ware. Fahey from New Canaan, Ware from Greenwich. They're probably going to end up playing in the first round of the FCX tournament. The winner of that one will be because of which goalie stood on their head, and only Fahey or Ware will lead to a victory over the number 1 seed Darien Blue Wave. So watch out for those rookie goalies in the girls hockey tournament.
Well, Frank, I'm going to look forward to tomorrow night, my guy, Johnny Football, but now it's Johnny Basketball. Johnny McElroy for the Trumbull Eagles, 26 points the other night. Look out for him. He was 9 of 11 from the foul line, Frank. He knows how to hit his free throws.
Well, that's what you want to hear. I'm going international for my final stamp of approval. Anton Adding, the senior transfer from Sweden, one of the smartest hockey players we have seen all season long. He completed that second line for the Rams, gives them the depth they're going to need if they're going to knock off the Tigers at some point. Anton Adding from Sweden, you get the Valentine's stamp of approval.
Well, Frank, you're quite the artist. Look at that. The flag is very impressive.
Impressive Swedish flag. Thank you.
All right, Frank, I'm going to move over to the Lady Tigers over here for my Tigers. I'm going to take the Middlebrook siblings. They've been playing outstanding so far this year. They get my stamp of approval. Elizabeth, Julia, and Claire, these 3 girls are going to be impact players for the Tigers come playoff time.
It's only 10. And there's so many more we could include, but I think that these are athletes who are going to play a huge role. They're not necessarily the best player on their team, whereas they are going to be one of the most important players for their role both on and off the field and what they do behind the scenes as leaders of their teams. Either way, Kev, we are officially engulfed into championship month now, and we've got it all about to hit us right when we're ready for it.
Is it just me, or does it feel like it came up to us really fast? It felt like yesterday we were just doing our first broadcast for basketball, hockey. You talked about, we've done a lot, wrestling as well. Just feels like yesterday we were doing our first couple broadcasts for the winter season.
Either way, we are 3 days away now from the championships for girls basketball. We got the quarterfinals for you. But before all that, tomorrow night, Trinity Catholic and Trumbull in boys hoop at 7 p.m. right here on the HAN Network. As always, though, coffee break with Kate Chaplensky at 11 a.m. CT Pulse with Josh and Kate at 12:30. Kevin's back with me for Nutmeg at 2. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. We'll see you back here tomorrow, as always, on the HAN Network.